So today is the 8th of April. This is the Newberry Open Space Committee calling to order our meeting. We don't have any members of the public here today, but I'll go around real quick, just for the record. Christina Hoffman.
What do I do? Say my name?
And
This
where you
seems
live.
new.
Oh, we could have.
Christina Hoffman, 21 Marsh Avenue, Newbury.
Kristen Grubbs, Planning Director.
Jim Dooley, 51 Orchard Street.
David Powell, 5 Kent Way.
Sean McElroy, 89 Main Street.
Mike Carboni, 121 Scotland Road.
Sadie Woodward, non-Newbury resident Valley, 302 Dodge on Raleigh.
All right, thank you. So we have an agenda. The first on the agenda is citizens' queries. Seeing how we have nobody from the public here tonight, we're going to move right on to the Open Space Committee minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes? I think they just get sent out.
Yeah, that was a little late, my mistake, but
No worries.
if people didn't get the chance to review them, then we can maybe do them next time, but
Yeah.
up to everyone.
It's not a problem to do it next time
Yeah.
if people want to
Yeah.
just do it, yeah. But if everyone's reading them right
We
now,
need to move to.
you can make the
They're
call.
not. Yeah, I think they don't have a copy.
So we can push this to the next meeting. People can review the minutes. I thought you were good, Mark, by the way.
Thank you.
Yep, good job.
Yeah.
And so then we have the final go on the survey and publicity materials.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give everyone the chance to, say any last thoughts about the survey that they might have. I feel like we've all kind of hashed it to death at this point, but just in case. So if anyone wants to discuss the survey at all, I've gone into little, I've made little details that have come in, from people's comments over time, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone was happy before, it gets plastered everywhere. So yeah, the floor is open.
So I guess I have a question. I just clicked on the QR code and it's asking me to sign in with a Google account, and I don't have a Google account. So I wouldn't be able to do this survey.
Okay. I think I did have to, can I just see which one you are? Oh, that one?
Mm-hmm.
You just did?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good,
Yeah, so can
Problem.
we use a different platform or make it so that you don't have to sign into Google?
I think I thought I made it so that everyone could access it, but I can check like the settings and make sure that, and if not, then I can change the platform.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't, I thought you could do it without having
Yeah,
to
but I
sign
mean,
in
if you're
too.
just,
Yeah, I mean, it says, I
you're,
thought you could also, I just looked up.
you just tried.
It says you should be able to do it without a Google account.
Okay. Well, I think there is a
Personal
way,
email address.
so I'll look into it more and make sure that's not going to be a barrier here.
Because there's nowhere in the survey that captures your email at all, is there?
Yeah. I don't think so. No,
If you
I
didn't have to
ask.
sign in, the survey wouldn't be like capturing the person filling it out's
Right.
email address some way.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think it's anonymous the way we have it right
Yeah.
now.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
I feel like
interesting
we tried that.
I just
in one of
scanned
the
it.
drafts.
because I have Gmail. It automatically has my email,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, want to be anonymous, I don't know if there's a way to just, it says not shared underneath it. I don't know if that,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm. Okay. I will
just as a but it just shot me right to it.
Yeah, me too.
Did that happen with the previous drafts, or did we not?
This is
Maybe
the
we
first
didn't get that.
I don't think
Oh,
I've
it's the
shared a QR
code
code with
that's
people.
triggering it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But the format on the phone looks really good.
Yeah,
I like it.
smooth.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, take a look at that.
Okay, well, that's a good point. I'll dive more into that for sure. Any issues with the wording, format, content, anything that's come up over the past couple days or weeks?
Well, since our last meeting, I haven't looked at it too much more,
Okay,
but I was pretty good with it when we left.
okay, cool. Did you have
I
something?
was trying to remember, I sent you a question and I can't remember about the change of wording, and I thought,
I incorporated, yeah, you had like, I think 3 or 4 just little wording points, and I changed them all.
okay, the one from a definitive support,
Yes.
Okay.
Would you hypothetically like C to support or something?
yeah, right,
in, like, one of the last
yeah,
questions,
okay.
yeah.
All right, I just couldn't find it here.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Right,
Okay, so sounds like we can, once I figure out that sign-in issue, then we can send it all out to all systems go for the survey.
Yeah, looks really good.
On question 6,
Okay,
where it says, please name the locations you visit most often, and to click the link, which
Yeah.
brings us to the webpage.
yeah.
Do we want to put even just like a draft version of the map that I had been working on, you know, in place of the older out-of-date map that's in there, or?
On the website?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
cause like, that's from like the previous plan, from like
Okay.
2010, so that's,
The black and white.
yeah, the black and white one.
So would it be this map?
I think so, I think we could do that, you know, and then,
except that doesn't have any other data,
well,
does it?
I guess, yeah, because this one does have the sites all listed by alphabet.
Right, well, also,
Like
Oh.
A is Bay Circuit Trail,
it
B
doesn't
is
have any names.
on that one, that was
One
just,
of the things I thought about was the fact that people would, know places they went.
Yeah.
In all honesty, they might not know how it's known, do you know what I mean?
yeah. We can take the one that I had drafted up, that at least has like the sites labeled, if we want to do that, and then, it'll at least have that named on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing the only thing that's not
Right.
finished on that map is I didn't get to finish coloring, you know,
Actually,
all water features in yet, or
Okay.
ever,
I
but,
just think the most important thing is that we get a reasonably accurate reference from, if somebody says, you know, this is the place we always take the dog, and they don't know what the name of it is, that doesn't help us a bit with the, you see what I'm saying?
yeah,
That they need to be able to go find out what it's called.
Yeah.
Your map has the names on it, correct?
yeah,
Mike's map. Yeah, so we'll put that one. You
Yeah,
can give
that's
us the most final and we can post it on the
Okay.
website and then link it. Yeah,
In place of.
yeah, that's fine.
so I'll send you that,
Yeah,
latest version of that.
yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great, thank you.
And then we'll just have to add a couple of other, like, locations,
On the site.
yeah, on the site,
Okay.
just,
Yeah.
there are no greenbelt spots, you know, so
Yeah,
there's a
we
couple
can-
there. Caldwell's on here, so that's good, since that was a new ad, just some things like that, so I can probably just figure out what's missing for the list and just give you the list of that stuff,
Cool,
so, to go with the map, okay.
thank you, yeah.
Have we like touched on this? Is there any, should I hit submit just to see what happens? Or have you already done that like 100 times and it's fine?
I don't see why not. I mean, like, I'm not really too worried about like getting, you know, statistically significant data, like, I don't think it matters if we
You
take.
just-
Oh, I figured you would clear it though. You would not take any data until we officially opened it. So I want you
I don't
to clear
think
my
it-
results. Because I
Uh,
didn't really do it for real.
okay.
I was just testing out clicking the button.
I think, yeah, you can, I think you can clear it. I think it just kind of all goes into one pot though, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I won't submit it then. I just want to make sure that it works, but if you've already tested it then, and you don't need any more testing, then I won't do it. I
Okay.
just want to make sure that it,
It is publicly available already, right, just from the blurb on the homepage.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Clear form, I'm not doing it on clear form. I'm not
Right.
gonna.
I mean,
I didn't know it had gone live.
no, that's okay. Should we all take the survey or is that?
Oh, I'm taking the survey for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
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 Then, yeah, if you want to take it with your actual answers and then submit it and see if it's, submitting correctly and everything, that would be helpful too.
Okay.
I did wonder, at the end, the thank you. and
Yeah.
Not to reopen the content of the survey, but do we want to, you may have talked about this at last meeting, which I missed, but do we want to put the meeting date, like anything there?
Yes, that's a good idea.
Right, just to, because
I
especially
think-
the early
Yes.
adopters might be the ones who also.
Good idea.
Yeah.
It's a soft launch, like
Right.
it is on this webpage, but there hasn't been any publicity yet.
Yeah.
But we could also, if we wanna clean up these last few tweaks, it's very easy to just,
Yeah,
I can take that off tonight if we needed to, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it looks
We
good.
should, yeah.
Where are the
Yeah, I think
results?
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of like, it just said that we got a response. I don't know if it was one of you.
That was
You get the prize.
That's good to know.
And we're,
and I wasn't logged in. So,
This is a test, please ignore this.
yeah.
Nice. Oh, what was I gonna say?
So where's this going?
Yes, it's gonna be like the organizational outreach survey where it's like I think a sheet of all the responses, just like the question as a column and then all the responses are listed. So, yeah, that'll be cool.
So, we have this button at the very end, submit another response. Did I miss something? What would that do? Are we like
I don't think we
people-
want that to be
Yeah.
a thing,
That's
so.
under the thank you message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's at the very end here.
Right.
Your response has been recorded, you want to submit another
Well, that is-
response.
And did you press that
Okay,
before?
let's try it, sure. Let's do
But
it.
your data was captured before you submitted?
Yeah.
So it's just allowing you to submit two responses to the same thing.
Yeah.
Sean, were you saying you didn't submit and it submitted? I misheard what you were
We were
saying.
talking about that we didn't know whether you could access the survey without signing into Google. And since I wasn't signed in, I was able to access it. I guess that's what I was.
Did
Oh,
you,
so you were able to access it
Yeah.
without signing?
Right,
Okay, good.
So you didn't get this like sign in here in order to access it?
no, but it does have a little
Can I
thing on the
see
front
what
that
it is?
says sign in if you want to. So maybe my phone is
Maybe you can
configured.
just
Right.
ignore the
Automatically.
sign-in.
did you use the QR code or just go off
I
of
used
like?
both of them actually.
Well,
So I'm not sure, I think it's this one.
no, it's up there, yeah. Did you though fill out, you got to the last page?
Yes.
So you went through, answered all the questions. Sadie saw the results
Yeah, I
captured.
saw the results.
like,
Yeah, I
that
can
was
see
before-
two responses now.
Because you, so basically it was capturing all the responses before the submit button
Mhm.
as the first row.
Yeah,
And the second was the submit, is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, I submitted again.
yeah.
Did that show
Oh, you
up?
hit submit twice.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, he submitted to, like, he answered a question, pressed submit as one response, went through, typed in more answers, submit it again. So now it says that you've submitted twice.
Okay,
But I don't think we want people to be able to submit
No.
twice.
No.
okay.
Yeah, but you might not be able to, you won't be able to control that if people don't sign in.
That's, yeah,
Yeah, right.
Because you could just hand your phone around and every new person could take the survey. But if you're like,
I guess I could try sending
Do
you.
So, yeah.
you go, Sean, go back to the beginning and start
I
again?
think we're just gonna have to trust that people aren't gonna do it more than once, to be honest.
that
Take-
might,
The first
that
opinion
might
is
be
gonna
what we
say,
have to do.
I thought it was.
yeah, I think so.
Well, maybe to be an idiot, and there are a lot of them out there, see, let me try doing this, because I haven't even done it. So
Right.
somebody gives me the QR code, I'll scan it. Okay. So what do I do?
Go to
See,
your
and there I
camera.
am, you have to understand, that not only just me, but there are a lot of people at the level that I'm at. So, okay, so where do I come across this anyway in the first place?
Well, we haven't released this, we haven't done.
No, but I'm saying, I'm trying to project
Oh,
and
that.
saying, okay.
That is, I'm envisioning will be handed out at like town meeting and obviously the public meeting.
Right.
Well, we can leave them places, people can take one, and then I picture the poster being like on, you know,
Right,
bulletin boards, various
okay.
places.
So, for people who don't understand QR codes, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, okay, so now here I am with my little phone, what do I have to find on here to scan that?
There's also the option of, I can put it on here, if you don't want to use the QR code,
Yeah,
visit
the link
visit
itself.
this site. But I
Yeah.
figure that's much easier than having to type in like a link address.
But if people don't know how to do
We
QR
can
codes.
put both options.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the website is here. It just, maybe you would wanna, you could put like,
Make it more prominent.
Make
Yeah.
it clear.
if you want to do it online instead of if you don't want to use the QR code, go here. Yeah,
Okay.
You could, yeah, you could scan the QR code with your camera.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Make it a little bit more descriptive of how to use it.
if people are unfamiliar with QR
I
codes.
think if they're gonna use it, they know how to use it.
yeah.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
Put a
if they
URL.
don't know how to
Yeah.
use it, there should be some other way for them to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I was, okay,
Gotcha.
good, we got there.
So say is the URL you're gonna,
I'll just do townofnewbury.org/open space committee.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then the whole, and then it'll be like right there on the first page, like here's the survey, click here.
Or, I mean,
so it's.
the survey's gonna be on our open space committee page. right?
Yeah, I put it there already,
Yeah.
so it's
Oh, I
like,
see, okay.
and it'll be like, they
That's
won't,
good.
all they will have to do is type in townofnewbury.org/open space committee, it'll be right there.
A nice simple
Okay.
URL.
Hopefully like minimal clicking to get to where they wanna go.
And then do we have printed versions that are, I feel like this is on our agenda item, right? Let's talk about this. Do we have printed versions that are gonna be in the planning
Yes,
office?
I made a, printed version that people could just like write out.
And then slide it into a box or leave it somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And the locations for that are here. Did we-
I don't know if we decided that yet.
Oh, it worked, it worked.
Oh, you got to work.
It worked just, well, I've got, put it this far. In other words, just using the camera,
Mhm.
not using any software to actually, because that sometimes works better. But it actually managed to go into Google. I'm using what do I want to say? Not an iPhone, but the other kind of.
Android?
Yeah, yeah. And so, okay, so, okay. So it does give me a choice of accounts that I can save it to.
Okay. But there's no way to bypass that option or that
It
prompt?
says switch account. In other words,
Okay.
I have an account, which is a Gmail account, which enables me to get in.
Yeah.
But I do have another account, which is a Gmail account, so,
Mhm. But you have to sign into one of those, it looks like, right?
no,
Probably already
only if I
signed
want to
in.
save it.
Mine automatically
No.
signed.
Oh, okay.
you're
Yeah.
gonna look for an update to make sure. it's
Yeah, I'll
non-Gmail.
see.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it forced you to
Okay,
sign
so
like
what
that.
Yeah.
happens?
I
Um,
haven't
Okay.
seen this, it might be possible to, if there's a setting in the Google Forms so they can only submit once. I don't know, you try.
I
you have to
thought
try-
That's a
I
cookie
thought
that
I
then
made
prevents
that
the
setting a
resubmit,
thing,
yeah.
but
But, yeah.
Okay,
I will make sure that it is the case.
Yeah, the next button wasn't working previously, but it is now.
Yeah.
You know, to the demographic part.
Okay.
all right, so, then let's talk about getting these materials out and prepare whatever you need help with, Sadie, and let's decide how we want to disseminate this stuff. So we have the annual meeting coming up. Obviously, there was talk in the last meeting about maybe a bulletin board and someone standing next to it, like a poster board. Is that what we're still thinking of doing? Maybe we could use that flyer and just blow it up.
The flyer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
stand next to it and just be like, hey,
Yeah.
open
Is that-
space, yeah.
Yeah.
And then pass around and introduce the concept to people.
Mhm. Yeah. At town meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
is, do we don't have any funds for anything like making, I mean, I know it's not much, but go to Staples and make one laminated board. Can we do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have, yeah,
It's just a poster.
we also have a plotter here, so I can probably just
Oh,
print
yeah.
it big and put it
And
on
then
the
put binder
foam
clips
board
on the
that we
Yeah.
foam board, yeah.
Whatever's easier, yeah.
Yeah, we have easels and stuff, so
Okay.
we can figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, because there's always a line standing there,
Yeah,
like
right.
checking in and
Yeah.
checking in.
Oh, yeah, it's
So if you have
busy.
it in a good spot and people are like,
Yeah,
And right now, I'm not traveling, so I'm happy to man the booth, so to speak.
I forget, what's the date on that?
Is it the 29th, April
3
It
29th?
weeks.
is
Yeah.
April
Yeah.
29th, yeah. 3 weeks
You
from
are
now.
not here.
I'll be flying in. I get
Yeah.
off the plane.
Yeah, you're not on duty.
I was planning on going, so I can also man with you. if you
Okay.
like.
Yeah, thank you. That'll be fun. I also could do like one Saturday morning at the dump. We always find that everybody comes to the dump, so
Yeah.
I also am willing to go do like a little session there too.
And I'm happy to. do
Okay.
both.
Okay, yeah, maybe we
Also-
split up, we both do
Yeah,
an hour or
just-
something, right? Call it good. Okay. So that means we'll have to swing by and pick up some of those forms. the
Yeah,
final version.
yes, I will make,
Bring the
I'll
easel
edit
to the
them.
top.
I was just gonna hand out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we will walk in.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not boring.
Make you wear it and put it over the
Oh, okay,
straps.
good, yeah, even better.
Like front and back.
Just a QR code.
I know. What else do you need?
Alright.
So keep us posted. We'll do it whatever Saturdays falls after you're done revising that.
Okay,
for us.
yeah, that sounds good.
Did we talk about putting it in the newspaper, or is that risky because all people see it?
The-
You know?
the
like-
QR code and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, just an announcement, yeah. In the daily.
Yeah,
And then you're getting, you know, the potential that not very people are
yeah. I mean, there are questions
getting.
if you live in Newbury,
Right.
weed those out.
That's true, yeah, right.
If they answer them truthfully.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just-
We could try to do a press release and see if they pick it up, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
but I would
might be.
probably think doing like an advertisement will not be.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Oh, I remember those
Yeah.
ones, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not for.
Well, can you
Yeah.
submit it as an event,
Right.
even though it isn't one?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well, it is
we
an
are
event.
having an
They
event,
put-
so.
they
We
put
are
the-
gonna have an event, yeah.
Right, that, in
That's a
fact,
good
that,
idea.
right, combine the two.
So just gonna mention, Sadie and I have a lot going on this next week, so I'm thinking it'll probably be the end of next week that we'll kind of like really
Yeah.
get all this stuff out to you guys and,
Yeah,
yeah. Which is fine, it should all be like good before we kind of do the big blast.
Well, does anyone else want to volunteer to call the newspaper and tell them about the event? Does anybody know anybody? No.
I don't know
Okay.
anybody, but I can call. We get the newspaper. So if you guys
Yeah,
would rather take it, let me take it up. But sure.
that sounds good.
Okay.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Okay, so we're calling it an event. Are we putting the date of, what, are we setting a date?
Oh yeah, that was something else I wanted to.
It's on the flyer
Deadline
in
or
her
something?
name.
Um, yeah, so according to the
Oh, maybe-
responses from everyone, May 8th at 4:30 PM works for all of us. Is that definitely good?
Okay.
Okay, cool. I already reserved the space at the library, so that is cool. So, yeah, now we just have to get the word out. And also figure out the agenda for that meeting. Do we want to shift to that?
Did we decide, I don't know if we talked about it at the last meeting because I wasn't here, but doing like a news and announcements on the Town of Newbury page. I think I had written out something.
Yes.
So we're gonna do that. I know it requires getting approval, like reviews and whatnot. Is that something you
Yeah, we
wanna
were
do?
just working on that today. I emailed John, who's in charge of getting the news bulletins out, so hopefully he'll do that sooner rather than later. So,
Alright.
And we should probably make sure one gets in the Council on Aging flyer. Comes out.
yes. Well,
'Cause I saw one for,
they did one recently with a
It's,
promotion
I think
for us.
It's,
Right.
didn't she say it was too late
It's
because it's.
they do it only every few months or something,
It's,
right?
That's
yeah,
2 months.
it's only every 2 months, so it's April, May,
okay, forget it.
the one that's just come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which they did put something in for us, but it didn't have all the details that
right,
we have
yeah,
now. but-
it
It
had,
does have the
well-
link though to the website. so-
Yeah, that's good enough, I think. People will find it.
now they also might put something on their website,
Okay, yeah, you can ask.
because, I'm thinking people go to that quite separately from the town website, see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, we can
So,
ask
so
them to.
the
promote.
May 8th meeting could get exposure
Right,
to that group.
yeah, okay.
And Cindy will tell you whether that, you know, what you have to do in terms
Okay.
of writing it up, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, obviously I don't know the answer to this, so it says something. Is there like a Facebook group or a Twitter group or something like that at the town?
So John will do that. John, the IT director, will post it on the homepage,
Oh,
which distributes to anyone in town who's signed up for the major news. We can also post it specifically for the distribution of people who sign up for open space committee or planning board, like we have access to that. But John, manages the town Facebook and Instagram.
okay.
I don't know if there's a Twitter, but does Twitter still exist?
I think it's called
X,
X.
yeah.
Okay, there's no X, I'm pretty sure. We're not gonna post it on X for many reasons. We will make sure it goes on the town's Facebook, yeah. And then there's
Okay.
sometimes like the police department picks stuff up, maybe they will, I don't know. There are other Facebooks that are kind of linked in with like the main town Facebook. But yeah.
Private, citizen run ones.
No, it's like
The town
other,
itself.
like the police chief or the fire chief, sometimes they post stuff
Library.
as well.
What do you think about those couple, there's a few of the, I don't want to say nice, like the nice people.
Yeah, I don't
in
think
Newbury
we're
Park.
gonna go to the
Yeah, that's-
town friend
Gossip.
Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I mean, any of you could forward it to your
Right.
friends, that would, you know, hey, local friends, like,
Let it go organically that way,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
try to.
I think so. We'll keep it municipal, that's my opinion.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, distribution.
Yeah, I think we also talked at one point about the schools, right? Didn't we? Like maybe seeing if like little flyers could go home or something. I haven't thought about that until right now, but we could check on that. We were talking about getting, when Sadie and I were talking about the exact time of day, besides the fact that this time worked well for everyone, it seemed like potentially could hit both demographics.
Yeah.
Like potentially a family with kids could be stopping by the library before dinner, and potentially, you know, the rest of us who are older wouldn't mind late afternoon, maybe you're finishing work, whatever, or you're retired, whatever it is. So to the extent we want to, like, I think we can kind of use the library as well to elevate invitations, and maybe even if we get a poster, you know, they might even put a like an easel or poster there. So anyway, we will.
Where we're on the other end of town, we can, when the posters are ready, we can grab them, we can go around just like 10 o'clock and butchery, and we can ask them if it's okay. There's like,
Yeah,
there's a
they
town,
have, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, those little, we'll just post that little thing.
Yep, and I
Yeah.
can get one out, and Surfland will hang one up for us. They have a bulletin board there. So there's definitely, we can go around and post kind of that end of town.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so it sounds like a pretty solid plan there. If anything comes up, we can go through you guys. If there are any other ideas, maybe we'll move now to the public meeting agenda and that update. So Christina and I were talking about maybe just throwing out kind of the first draft of some type of agenda. And then so it got sent out to you guys this afternoon. I don't know if you guys have that available.
I do, and if someone doesn't, I have a printed copy.
Yeah, we have ours here. And this is just like our first stab. I mean, Christina really typed it all up after a conversation, so it's her first stab at what we could talk about and how it would go. I think my thought is that the purpose of the meeting really is it's really part of, it complements the survey that we're, the public survey that we're putting out. Really, we're just trying to capture every demographic in town to help inform us with the goal that it's what the vision is for open space for the town, from multiple users' perspectives. And so where in Christina's outline, it starts off with what is open space, and it's an introductory of why are we doing this, why is this important. But then I think the majority of the meeting is about trying to just really stimulate conversation, to get people to tell us what they want or what's important to them. Like as you guys went around and started talking to your organizations and then doing the survey, I know everybody I talk to, I can't even get through the questions. They have so much to say, and it's really informative. And I'm like scribbling like crazy trying to keep up. And I'm hoping that hopefully that's kind of what we foster in this kind of a town meeting, relaxed atmosphere. I want to get some open discussion going, really. So, I mean, we can hit on all these things in the agenda or use that as guidance, but really, in my mind, anyway, I want your feedback too, but in my mind, is to try to stimulate the conversation, to draw in other ideas and perspectives from the other community, because what's important to me may not be important to someone on Plum Island or someone in Byfield or something like that.
Yeah, that all sounds good. Yeah, and or Christina, do you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I think that was a great introduction, and yeah, again, this is like the first stab, so whatever seems like it makes the most sense, try to space it out in a way that makes the bulk of the time be like community dialogue with guiding
Yep.
questions, somebody having guiding questions.
And this will be happening, if you're going to do the survey, you may be at the meeting, right? You may have already done the survey, show up at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You may show up at the meeting and then go do the survey, or you may not do the meeting survey. But for those, I guess, it's also an opportunity for people who are at the meeting to go and make sure others know about the survey.
Yeah, we should bring a bunch of those
So
so that they can spread the little
Yeah.
flyers.
And I thought, yeah, like you have, we could leave time at the end, we could just be like, if anyone hasn't taken our survey, here's a good opportunity. So, yeah, that's a great idea.
Is it overkill to say that trying to get a video of some of this, in the sense that that video then can become something that's put on the site with the survey as background information or not? Or is that too much? I don't know. You know, it really depends on.
What's your experience in having
Yeah.
public meetings and
Right.
posting it? For some reason, that makes me a little nervous, but
Exactly.
I also
Yeah, no, I understand.
Do we have to do it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
If more than a quorum of the committee is at a meeting, it needs to get
Oh.
posted, so we would probably post this as a public meeting anyway, in which case,
it's going to be recorded. Good call.
it's like, kind of, you know, in some cases with similar public, like we had some public meetings related to zoning amendments last year, and we actually just made sure that there wasn't a quorum of the planning board there, so we didn't have to post it as a planning board meeting, for instance, but in this case, I feel like it would be great if we were all there, and I don't really see a downside, because the camera can run, and
No, you don't
where do
have
these
to-
archive videos
You
go?
don't have to you don't have to post that as a public, as a meeting of the planning board that has to be logged. No, it doesn't. Oh, the open space meeting law doesn't apply.
It's an event, really. Right?
It's, yeah, it's,
Information
I feel
session.
like I just read something about that. I did. Section 2, public meeting. Under the Massachusetts general law, most meetings held by a municipal board, commission, council, task force, or other body, not committee though, is required to comply with the open meeting law. Notice of meetings must be posted. All meetings associated with the development of an open space and recreation plan should be considered public meetings as a rule of thumb.
yeah, but do you know when that was written?
Yes. This is the old,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
But I mean,
Yeah.
So what happens if
we
we're
can
wrong?
talk about it before May. Let's-
Okay, yeah,
why don't we
alright.
say
Yeah,
that?
let's
so
talk about it
what
tonight.
happens if
We
we're
will
wrong?
clarify and clean it and make sure we're doing what's
I'm
appropriate
gonna-
before May.
Maybe I'll rewind and ask a different question just to get my point. Like, because I agree completely about like video and like, is really someone going to sit and watch for 45 minutes, you know, fast forward, whatever. And it's an open conversation, right? So it's unstructured, but at least if there is a deck, which there is, right? But maybe
Yeah.
getting the deck onto the site.
yeah,
Put
that's
it
a
on
great
the
idea.
survey.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so
That's
that
a
there's
good
a
idea.
little bit of an art, like for that
There's a
person
little
who couldn't make the meeting but is really into it and wants to like have some more
Yeah.
context beyond
Yeah.
that, that's all.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
But please get this straight. If you're not making a decision about policy or whatever, then you do not have to have it declared as a meeting of the committee. And until you get that, I'll be blunt, through your heads, that's going to really upset me because it's ridiculous.
Overtime.
That's
And
fine.
we're getting increasingly in this community tied up with the damn town council. And that's not the way to run our community, is to run off to the lawyers every 5 minutes. Okay? I'm sorry, but I want this on record because this is not what this is about. And if it is, I don't want any part of it. Okay?
All right,
That's
here you
it.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
I'm just gonna throw something out. I know there are other towns in the area that have gone through situations where There were communications happening outside of meetings that were televised or properly noted, and the counselor did get involved, and there were people who were complaining, people's jobs are at stake, things like that.
So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about us getting together and having decisions made at a non-meeting. I'm talking about confusing an event with a meeting.
No, okay, I understand that. What I'm saying is that some people can take, it's one thing for us to say that, it's another thing for someone to walk up the street and think the same thing. They may not think that. They may actually think that this is an official meeting and that they're going to make their complaint or whatever, put a pleading out, whatever. And unfortunately, since we're all there, they have the right to do that. And if they don't get heard, then that's where the legal situation pops in. So, I mean, I don't know, I don't have an exact reference, but it is a local town I'm thinking of. It's a very recent situation, and somebody was fired as a result. So,
What'd you guys do when you unveiled the hazard mitigation plan? Not something like discussing an amendment, zoning amendments, things like that, but when that those materials were ready to be publicly viewed, did the planning board in some way host a Q&A with that, or I'm just trying to think of a similar example to something recent,
Right.
whether it's that or
I appreciate all the comments. I think let's just
yeah.
make sure we talk about the meeting, and then if we have
Yeah.
time, maybe we can circle back to it.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
just think it's not always clear cut. In my experience, not just with this town, but with other towns, as Sean's saying, it's sometimes can be a little bit fuzzy,
sure.
despite,
That's why I was if there was a recent
Language.
example of something that was in that fuzzy
Yeah.
area, I was just curious if
yeah.
something recent like that has happened.
Generally, I think it's easiest to just post the meeting, and
Yeah.
it's never seemed a particular problem to me to do that in the case that there's a quorum of a committee meeting in a public space, that the public are invited. It's pretty easy to just post the meeting. That's been my experience, to basically just be safe. For the reasons Sean is saying. It's not that I have a legal opinion to back up the way I have practiced, but it's definitely a question that needs to get asked and needs to get sorted through. In this case, maybe we don't have to post it as a meeting, but we'll figure that out.
I mean, just to throw something out there, I mean, we can have the video directed only at the committee members. So in other words, if we have a table like this, you don't have to show the public.
Yeah,
So there are ways around it, in that sense.
yeah,
And it does have to be recorded.
yeah.
If we're all
Well, we won't come to the solution tonight here, so
there. Right.
let's keep moving.
So, then I guess I ask, we have another meeting for this, we do our public meeting, so we can review the agenda, make edits to it, and maybe we want, next meeting, we can come up with an approved agenda. If that sounds good to people. I know this is kind of new because we just sent it out this afternoon. Maybe you can read it and digest it a little bit and then make some comments on it. So we can nail this down on the next meeting,
So we're planning on having another meeting in between now and May 8th.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have one.
But we might
We
need
only
to
have
prep.
4 weeks. Yeah, we only have
Yeah.
4 weeks to get ready for this. And if we need a slide deck,
Oh, that's true.
I feel like we have to start putting that together.
Should we kind of decide, we could all kind of do different sections of the slide deck maybe, and then, we could send them all to each other. I don't know. That sounds chaotic, actually. Well, I feel like we should try to delegate who's doing what, definitely.
Right.
But,
were you envisioning the slide deck to guide the presentation, or more just like, it's like, you know, like maps revolving on the screen, like, you know, photographs, things like that, or like more presentation style, like what were you kind of thinking with that?
So alright, so for the first item, the first section, it was like, okay, who are we? What's the open space
Yep.
committee? Just be like, it's a volunteer board, you know, we meet every month or so, and, you know, here's our mission statement. Because we came up with the mission statement at the beginning, right? And then now it's on our website, so like really quick, 1 minute, 2 minutes. And then what is an open space and recreation plan? And I feel like I would just take that right out of like the introduction to the open space and recreation plan and read it. And then maybe talk about, this is where we would need a little input, like what are the benefits of having this plan? What are the, you know, disadvantage of not having this plan? And so give people a little history that there was one in 2018 or whatever that date was that we had it 10 years ago or something. And that there's a current effort to update kind of the narrative and let people know what we're doing. We're talking to organizations, we're having this public meeting, we're updating the data, making it consistent with the master plan, like some of the other town plans. And so, you know, then kind of open it up, we're really here to facilitate a dialogue, so we want to hear from you. And then I feel like, so that slide deck could be really, it could just be, you know, 2 or 3 slides that covers all of that. I just covered it in 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And then it's like, but here's what I feel like is the most important is what are our guiding questions? Kind of like how do we negotiate the community dialogue? How do we, you know, kick it off and set the scene? And I liked our survey where we talked about some of the potential benefits of open space to get people in the right mindset, just like we put that question early in the beginning. You know, here are some of, you know, potential benefits of recreation and open space, and then, you know, hear what people ideas, like Bill said, sometimes you ask somebody this question and they could go on for an hour. So I actually feel like we need to come up with rules, like everybody who wants to speak, you know, can speak for a certain number of minutes. Otherwise, someone will just get up there and they'll talk for the whole hour and then we'll be done. And I think we should also estimate about how long we want this meeting to go, so that we can time it that way as well. So I feel like the thing that requires the most discussion from this group is A, does that sound okay? It's like an introduction, setting the scene. Those slides seem easy, and I'm happy to do those, or anyone else is, you know, welcome to do them. But what I feel like is most important is, what are our questions that we want the public to answer?
Yeah, so section 3.
Yeah. And then as like a little bit of an activity that could be going on when people arrive at the meeting, I thought, and this might be silly, so feel free to shoot it down, but I thought, well, what if we had a map, maybe the map that you've got going on, that is sort of the open spaces that we really know of in the town, and people can come in and put like a little push pin, like, well, I either live here, or I go to this spot, and then we just, at the end, it'd be kind of interesting to see, like, the people who came, this is where they go, as just another little reference data point. And if people don't want to do it, they don't have to do it, but it's just a little something to have as an extra.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
Yep.
And just, you can put as many pins up as, if you use the whole town, put pins all
Yeah,
over.
I go to all these places,
Yeah.
great.
You could also do the stickers, because then it's like transferable, right?
Yeah,
You
whatever.
take the paper off and like actually retain it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, but I
That's
like
true,
the push pins. I didn't know that. Is that that restaurant in Georgetown?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
You can say like, I'm
Like,
from here,
where
I
are you
live
from?
here, I live here.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think you had looked into some activity ideas too, right?
Yeah, I thought of like red and green stickers or something. Like green sticker could be a place you go really often, and like a red sticker could be a place you've never been. Just like random, just to get people talking about their feelings about open space. Or it could be like green is a place that you go all the time and you really, you know, it works really well for whatever your purpose is. And then red could be like, oh, this place, I've really experienced this consistent problem over however long, and could get them thinking about what could be improved also.
Maybe it could be yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
red
it's
seems
like, I
aggressive.
like this place, but it drives me crazy that there's always dog.
Yeah, like there's this one thing that bothers him about that
Like
place.
I can
Yeah.
tell you the place.
Yeah.
where I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the parking is like really confusing here. Like
Yeah.
you
Or there is
actually
no
have
parking.
sticky notes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. why
Or
is
yeah,
there
like
there?
sticky
There's
notes
no
or
sticky
something,
note.
or some sort of sticker, yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten a lot of that in my conversations about open space.
Really?
Plum Island, oh yeah.
There's no parking.
No parking, public access is too tight, people putting snow fences across it, like,
Mhm.
someone put a chain, like a fence with a lock. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Yeah,
Right.
problem, yeah. So
Well,
it's
that'd be,
interesting.
that would
Over
be good to
here
talk about.
can be Plum Island, and then over here is the rest of the
We're gonna have two
Yeah, all the like red stickers would be over there. Next. Yeah. There's lots of opportunity.
Great, exactly, good material. Okay, so it sounds like
I like that.
we're headed towards a meeting. So I think we have one scheduled just before the public meeting, but, so maybe we're proposing another meeting in between that. So 2 meetings before our.
In the next 4 weeks?
meeting, Yeah,
I think that would be a good idea too. It would be really short time between each one, but I just feel like we still have a lot to, get
I'm a
figured out.
fan of Zoom. I like it because it's so easy.
yeah, Zoom is great.
For like maybe a reconnect kind of thing.
Yeah, like reassess where we're at and what we
Yeah.
have to do before the,
Yeah, it'd be easy to share a screen if someone has started on a PowerPoint.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like maybe we could work on slides, and if you maintain the slide deck, we could send you our slides or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
then I could compile them all and then we could just test run it.
yep.
Is there like a Town of Newbury slide deck template for different
Yeah.
departments and
That's
whatnot?
a good idea.
Someone should do that.
I'm not volunteering to create it.
I'm surprised nobody ever required it.
Yeah, I would think like with the logo or whatever, so, okay, so we have free reign.
Yeah, I mean, we can start something out at the town ends with the logo on it, and then pass it
Okay.
off or
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I'm
can
happy
share
to
it
do
all.
that.
okay, awesome, thank you.
That's great.
Should we decide on a time for an interim meeting?
It's gonna be hard for me, I'm gone 21st to the 29th. But,
You might get-
yeah, you guys might have to do it without me. 1 week, tax day, 15. But then I'm gone the 22nd. 29th, unless we wanna do it. Depends your schedule too.
How is the 22nd, in 2 weeks from now?
Works for me.
Earth Day.
Nice.
Oh, are you busy?
No.
Oh.
I think that's in the development and engagement department.
Every day's Earth Day.
Every day,
Every day
exactly,
is Earth
thank
Day.
you. Oh, it
I
is.
like it.
So,
Not that I'm trying to exclude you,
Oh, it's okay.
but, I mean, unless
Later
No.
next
we
week.
could do
And
it
I
not
can-
on a Tuesday.
I can work on this up before I leave, and then I'll leave it in your hands. We're good.
I'm okay with doing it on not a Tuesday.
yeah, I was gonna say that too, if we're just doing it by Zoom, if there's another day that works.
Like next Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, the 16th or 17th? I can't do Wednesday, but I
I
can do.
can't do Wednesday either. I
You
can
could
do
do
Thursday.
Thursday. The 17th?
Yeah. Can people do that? I mean,
Yeah,
actually,
so.
well,
I sort of feel like the following week.
I think maybe the next week. I'm gonna be away
No, there's so much.
for a week
Yeah.
starting tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
But I don't have to, yeah.
So the week of the 20th, 21st. Are there days people can do that? I'm free basically at all afternoons.
The 21st is
Tuesday, the
Patriots Day.
22nd. Right, or- So back to the
So
Tuesday, the 22nd.
Yeah.
Or if that day doesn't work, Monday or
Yeah,
Wednesday.
you guys don't get Patriots Day off?
I don't know.
Come on.
It's not on
Yeah.
my
The
calendar.
town?
Yeah, I know, really?
it's
That
Easter
was-
Monday on my calendar,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
odd.
that's all right.
Does one night work better than another? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Of the week of the 22nd,
Of the 21st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th?
I would just say not Monday, because that is a holiday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tuesday or
So-
Wednesday is fine with me.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, does anyone?
22nd?
Back to Earth Day.
Tuesday.
I do the
Um,
23rd if you want.
Is that better for you in planning?
Wednesday.
I think I could do either day, as far as I know.
I can do either day.
So, sure. What about you guys?
I'm good either way.
22nd, is that where we landed?
Or the 23rd?
Or 23rd now?
You know,
Do we
Do you have
want
any
to
preference?
stick with the Tuesday?
Yeah.
Sounds
For
good.
me?
Sounds like 22nd.
all right.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
So where are we?
the
Zoom meeting
22nd,
on the 22nd.
Zoom meeting on the 22nd
Oh, good.
at,
Time.
what time?
What's the earliest people can do? I'm gonna be here most of the afternoon, so I can do really any time after 12.
I'm flexible, anytime, 5:30 or later.
Yeah, that works best for me too.
Do we wanna do 6?
Do that.
Is that like too close? Is that like dinner time for people?
Oh, works for me.
6?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
6?
6 Zoom on 22nd.
22 at 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna send out the Zoom invite for us.
Yay.
Sadie, thank you.
Alright. So, on our agenda, we have a map update. I think the last time we talked, that maybe Merrimack Valley was gonna do some maps, possibly?
Yes, these are them. I thought we could just kind of like look at them and check them out.
So as you recall, the plan requires these maps.
Yeah. Oh, is it different?
So there's not an option about these maps. These are maps required.
They really
I just wanted to make sure that.
Really?
Okay.
But we wanted to share because Sophie, the GIS, one of the GIS team, created them. They look good to me. We haven't, like, they're obviously, particularly the, what's it called? Legend is incredibly tiny. We have them digitally. We're happy to share digitally, and if people want to like dive in deeper and see if you have any questions about the legends or, but the dynamic maps for this project will be the open space map, which is the one that Mike has been helping with in particular. Did we have that one?
The open space?
Oh, you have
Right
it.
here.
This one?
Yep.
So that
That's geology.
has taken a lot of updates to like, because it shows the properties that are actually conserved, which have changed a lot since the last plan. And we're still like quality checking all of that. It includes chapter 61 properties, which change every year. So it's gonna be a combination of what we know is permanent plus a point in time where certain of the data levels, data layers are accurate just at that point in time. They might change next year or whatever.
That's why the parcel numbers are on that right now too, because it gave me a way to cross-reference between like assessor's data and other spreadsheets with the map. So, because I don't have like parcel outlines memorized.
Yeah.
But, so those can come off, you know, for the final like view of that, so they're not muddying up the visual. But then if this unique features map is that, just with natural heritage layer and stuff like that, we should make sure that, or MVPC should make sure that the changes we made to that are reflected here, because I already like
Yeah.
just
see that
picked
there.
out like one or two and was like, okay, so that needs to, you know, those updates that we made to that one
Yeah.
need to be on the unique features one.
Yeah. Good point.
So can you just point out which ones are the ones that are required and are sort of as is?
All of these are required, I think.
They're all
So 1,
required.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are like, those are all required as
There are
is.
8 maps
And then this one.
required. There are 8 maps required.
Okay.
These
Yeah, it's a bunch
6,
down here.
that's 7. in your hand,
Yeah.
that's required. And the last one is the action plan, which is at the very end of this project, when we set our action plan, then you put little call outs on your map that say,
Yeah. you
here's
can-
the trail we're gonna build, or
Gotcha.
here's the
Just
whatever.
look at the
Future.
2010 thing and that'll show you, because nothing's changed. What is this?
The population.
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 That's ridiculous.
How so?
Is it like a density map?
No, it's absurd.
Is it
They- they-
a growth?
No, they have summarized everything east of 1A down to the river. It represents nothing of any intelligent look at all. Because
Well,
all
it
of that
represents the
is
data
marsh,
on-
most of that is marshland.
I wonder what those units are.
They're all over
That's
roads.
why it's
where-
241 to 466.
What does that mean?
That's a lot.
That's actually a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, it, you know, yeah.
Doesn't-
I remember that, you know, MVPC insists on saying that our density of population is whatever it is, and it doesn't reflect the fact you can't build on 2/3 of the town. So it doesn't tell you anything intelligent at all, and this is the same problem. So I mean, if it doesn't matter, it probably doesn't. Because the state probably operates at the same dumb level as this does, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, why anybody would do it this way, I don't get it. I just don't.
I don't know what the data or how they get that output, you know, no idea.
It's, you know.
That's like auto-generated. That's not like
Yeah,
somebody
well, you know, I
manually
mean, the
doing that, you know.
population between 101 and 240, and it includes most of Martin Burns, which is larger than, you know, it's,
That's not
Well,
Yeah.
obviously, the beach isn't.
what?
right. It's
The whole
sanctuary.
sanctuary is
Right. This
clearly
isn't
not
okay.
good. It's just wrong.
It's not
right.
demarcated the right one.
And it's not right, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know,
I mean, if you include
That's
Plum
just-
Island.
yeah, because
It's like a farm one.
if you look at,
Right.
So maybe, can I start again, maybe?
yeah,
We just received these draft maps from MVPC.
right,
Okay,
They are the maps that the plan requires. MVPC does maps for every town, like many towns that are doing open space rec plans. So we are relying on them for their expertise in terms of providing Newbury with what every town needs to present to the state. It is our job to review the draft maps, ask questions,
right. Oh, we just did.
clarify data as needed. They can get back to us and say, this is why it is. So that's great. Like, why don't we write up our questions? I can share these digitally, and they're drafts. So we need to provide data. I don't,
Yeah.
and,
Perfect.
and
That sounds
content.
great.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
feedback.
Yeah.
We've been working primarily on the open space map because we know that's the one that had a lot of problems, and it's a parcel by parcel, very
Yeah.
time intensive process to review everything. Thank you again, Mike. But we're still working on reviewing them all, so I'm happy to take any comments.
So these are gonna obviously be in the plan, but it seems like they'd be really useful for maybe the public meeting too, so people could review them.
Yeah.
They'd have comments on them, I imagine, help guide discussions perhaps.
Yeah,
Would we just display those as drafts at that point? I don't know if we'll have finals by then.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
Maybe
mean,
we can
the
select
ones
which one.
that are,
Right.
Open space.
these will be final. but the
Yeah,
other ones-
geology's not changing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they
that's
won't
by
be
locking up
final until we
soils.
submit the
Yeah.
final plans. at the
People are
state,
kind of all of that.
But yeah. I was wondering, we looked at like the 2010-9 open space map versus the
You
new one
can-
made.
Sadie has it right there. You want to just open your binder?
Oh, yeah.
And just show them what it looks like?
I was just thinking like if there's like drastic change, it might be cool to have both, like this was it, last time we did the plan in 2009, and this is what it's looking like as we're doing the plan in 2025.
Yeah.
Might show, you know, a lot of additions. It's tough because like Parker River, the state lands, those have existed for a long time, and those are big chunks, so it's not like you're gonna have like not that, and then that shows up.
Yeah.
You know, it might be more
It might be.
minor changes on that scale, but, so what?
I don't think there are only 2 or 3 additions.
I mean, we've added like 20 properties, like not like, you know, like full-blown signage and trailheads, but like we've picked up a lot of land in 15, 16 years here.
Yeah.
But did you own or has conservation restrictions on?
Both. That are reflected now on that, you know, updated
Yeah,
2025
okay.
map, but like wouldn't have been there on, you know, the
No,
2000
right, good.
yeah.
What I think would be interesting to know is on the legend for the open space plan is, so there's open space, there's federal, state, municipal lands, but how do we know if they're protected or not? Is it the boundary that's, it's like, is it the perimeter, so there's legally protected in perpetuity, limited protection and unprotected? So it's like it's state land, and then you look at the boundary to see, it's like they're layered on top of each other.
They
State
are,
land, and
and-
it's protected.
It was a little, that aspect of it was a little confusing to me when I was looking at them, because like, again, just using my personal situation, you know, there were some conservation restrictions that were shaded that way, but didn't have the like permanent protection shading on it too, and I was like, why is that showing up one way and not the other? And so that was a little confusing to me as well.
Okay.
Like
So
all the
we
state
can
stuff
spend
is
time digging into that.
permanent, like that's.
So, which makes me a little nervous to share it, but I guess if we have like a big draft watermark over these, people at least will get a sense as to what we're up to.
I mean, I think it's okay to receive comments and questions from people at the public meeting, like why is this, you know, it's all public data, so it's, I guess I'm not sure what, like, we need to quality control it any way we can, you know, so if someone has information that it's worth like questioning, we can, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think if it was just blowing up a little bit more, maybe some of these
I
property
mean, it
boundaries.
may be hard to,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, your question about like, is all state or federal land protected, like, I'm not sure. I think if it, well, you could, I don't know. Is it? I mean,
This day
right?
and
No,
Like,
I mean,
I
it
mean,
could be
that's
state land,
huge.
but like there's a manufacturing plant on it because they lease the land or something, right? I mean, there's so,
Oh.
it's like if you're, just because you own something doesn't mean that it's open space and or that it's protected.
Like all the land that we own is articled in 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, yes, greenbelt land, yes. I guess my eye was drawn to the government-owned land.
No,
I
definitely, I
didn't
think,
say that it was open space right away.
but I'm wondering, like, would like Fish and Wildlife kind of be the same?
On some tribal level?
No, I'm
No, they're
saying,
like a giant
yeah, like Martin Burns.
storage
Yeah.
place, right? Like there's some parcels that they
Well,
have where they have, that's where they have their maintenance buildings and whatnot, so it's not
State
open
office.
space.
Right.
Oh yeah, that. kind of-
Yeah,
That's state land, but it's not.
Right, they could have state office buildings on there.
state.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm following you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. State managed.
I guess I would sort of say like, does it matter if there's a building on a public, like we're not interpreting that it's some like pristine habitat or something just because it shows up as like a government-owned property. The point is, it's not private. Like we can't acquire it to protect it. We can't
Yeah.
like encourage the owner to, I guess we could encourage them to turn it into more conservation land. I guess it's sort of like, to your point, like what are we trying to show on this?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's open space, then
Exactly.
do we not show a publicly owned property that isn't conservation land? I don't know how. it would be.
Yeah, you could
interpreted.
take off the state designation and you just have the outlines. This parcel is permanently protected for open space, or it's limited protection, or it's not protected.
Right,
I almost feel like that, for open space purposes, that's almost the more important as opposed to the ownership, but
Right.
I see the value in some
Yeah.
places of having it, but yeah, let's keep thinking about it.
So we can't
I
have a,
wonder if the handbook talks about it, like how to interpret
Interpret.
public properties, government properties in terms of, because it's complicated, like it's
Yeah.
often particularly complicated for town-owned land because you sometimes have to like deed hunt to figure out if a town-owned property was acquired for a certain purpose. Was it acquired for ball fields use, or was it acquired for actual Article 97 conservation land, or was it acquired to maybe someday be a whatever building, you know?
Right.
It's sometimes not easy at all, and I feel like that's where, I guess, for this purpose, it feels more important to make sure we get the Newbury-owned lands correct in terms of like the legal levels of protection. The state, that might be harder. Or the federal properties, I don't know, maybe there are not a lot of them, maybe it's only a handful that we can kind of, like, from personal knowledge, kind of suss out, you know? Yeah.
All right, well, again,
Yeah,
you guys send us the maps and we'll
Questions.
start, feeding over
Yeah.
comments and questions.
yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so I think in terms of the things we need to take action on at this meeting, that has wrapped that up. Does any other members of the committee have updates?
I can just say that I have the Conservation Commission interaction on my list. Their next meeting is next Tuesday, and I am not around. I'm not in the state, so I won't be able to go to it, so I will maybe get on their next agenda, which actually I haven't figured out when that is. But anyway, I have a message into them, but I might. If it's we don't have like a really hard deadline on when we finish all the interviews with all the organizations, right? But we're trying to get them done here like in the next couple months. Okay. I wasn't here last time, so I just want to make sure I'm not delaying
Yeah.
input of data.
They're on the same schedule as the planning board, so it's the first and third of
All
the
right.
month.
So they're gonna be the
Tuesdays.
15th, and then it's town meeting. So I wasn't sure if they like maybe moved it around town meeting or if they just canceled it.
It's the first and third Tuesday of every month, so it wouldn't be until May 6th,
Yeah.
which would be our
Yeah, I
meeting
mean-
here.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, they meet on Zoom too, so
Okay.
just, you could also
I can
maybe
step
just
out.
well, I don't know, is that the commission members that the outreach is for?
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing, is that it's like you can't kind of just talk to one person because you're only gonna get their view, so
Right.
it was a little more challenging. And I
Yeah.
think that the questions might be a
Well,
little.
why can't,
Yeah. You
the,
can,
okay, the Conservation Commission, we don't have any data from right now, is that what we're saying? Yes? No?
I think so.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so why don't we ask the conservation agent, at the meeting to go through the questionnaire and have the Conservation Commission basically answer it right then and there. That's what the PETA people did, Plum Island.
Oh, no, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I left a message for Mason earlier to call me and we can talk it through. So, yeah, I'll talk to him about that. See if it's a he, right, Mason?
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be involved anyway. They will drag their feet, they will probably come kicking and screaming, maybe, maybe not. But they have to be, and it seems to me we have to bite the bullet. And the bullet has to be asking them as a group, and if they can't decide, they can tell us they can't decide.
Okay. And just like use the list of questions that we came up with as general reference questions. Ask Mason.
Well,
Yeah.
the 6, okay, there are some questions that might not apply I'm trying to think now, there were 6 questions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and, you know, one about economics or something or whatever, that, you know.
I'll be
they-
thoughtful about which one.
Yeah, they answer
I
that,
might slip in a new one for
well,
now.
whatever. They answer some, you know, N/A, not applicable.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
you
that's a
know
good
why
idea.
I'm saying this? Because that's the way we get onto their radar. The fact that we exist and they're asking them questions and et cetera, and that you see what happened with the Open Space Committee? I mean, the Recreation Committee? Right? Once it became real, all of a sudden they send 2 people who I think made great contributions
Yeah.
to our meeting. And it may be that we might actually get somebody from the Conservation Commission.
I'll add a question.
Hopefully.
Would you like to have a representative come to our meetings? Oh, that might be my replacement.
Yeah,
possibly.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Now as opposed to later.
All right. As we're having all these discussions and stuff, and it occurred to me, like, what might be helpful is to kind of map out the next few months so we know where we're headed and when we're actually going to start pulling all this together, especially in light of Sadie's time. I can't remember exactly how long we had your services for, but, and, you know.
Vote for the budget at town meeting and we'll be good.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
yeah, I think that would be helpful,
Yeah, yep.
yes.
So for our next agenda item?
Timeline, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of look at a timeline and look realistically when we can start pulling this together. And that'll help as soon as we get our public meeting done, then we can start doing our analysis and looking at the questionnaires and see where we're at. Start summarizing that. That'd be awesome.
sounds good.
Great. All right, so anything else for this
Yeah,
evening?
what about the idea we talked about some time ago about events? What about, where are we on the, I noticed, I think they put some gravel down off the edge of Elm Street, right? So you can actually park now to go onto the Colwell Farm Trail. But there's nothing else. I haven't had a chance to go down it. They haven't marked the trail or anything, and I don't know where there's that.
So that work was done before the snow fell.
Yeah.
So the trail is marked and cleared, so there is a trail. It's also, I would call that a soft launch, because what we haven't been able to move forward yet is sort of the signage and kiosk and like actually printing these signs.
Is that budgetary or?
That is the fact that your very small planning staff is
Right.
very busy.
Fine, yeah, okay.
But it's spring and we've been talking about getting back on track with that project, yeah. And I do think this committee, Sadie and I talked about this today, it would be helpful to pull the expertise of this committee more directly into the fold of that project, but it is complicated because the property is owned by the homeowners association, and so they also, as you recall when they attended the meeting a few months ago, have a lot of questions about it. So it's literally a case of having time to spend on it. Yeah. But it's important.
Right, but so where might that put that trail as a possibility of an event?
Yeah.
Do we have any sense, I mean, you know,
I think we can work towards that. I think it would be a great site to have like a celebration kind of opening when it's ready.
I guess
But
is
I'm not
also,
sure
is
we
there
can
something
plan
that we
that
can
event while we're planning this event?
Yeah, like once this event is over and we're like working on the plan, like is it something that this group could help in terms of manpower with?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
think
more
it
manpower.
would be nice to have like, you know, we could have our public meeting and then we could kind of kick off a couple little summer
Yeah.
events here and there, like we could hit a bunch of the most popular open space.
Walkthroughs.
Yeah, or like bird watching, or like a picnic or something.
Yeah,
I think that could be
Or like installing the signs.
yeah.
Or yeah, some sort of
That's kind of what I was
volunteer
thinking. I figured if that's really
Oh.
what is also.
Not recreation. You don't want to do a picnic, Christina?
I can picnic. I can also use a hammer. So if we needed some help doing those things.
That is
I'm not sure, maybe the
amazing.
DPW does it, it's just more like that.
DPW can install anything we ask as soon as it's created.
So it's more like
It's
getting
more an
consensus
effort
on.
to get the
what?
right wording
Yeah.
on the sign and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Making it, I think we talked about this previously, but making it welcoming, not just having it be what you can't do.
There is no template right now.
There's no
right?
template. I feel like it's kind of important to take the time on this one because then if ideally we could upgrade some of the other signage in the same template if we like what we can get pulled together for this one. Obviously, every property has its differences related to uses, but in terms of like design, it would be great to have something that's consistent and, you know, noticeable by people driving by and all of that.
Is there anything we could do now to, like, take photographs of other town signs?
Yes,
Our town somewhere
yeah.
else as examples to,
We've
help
talked
inform
about
us,
the,
or-
yeah,
yeah.
so Ipswich has great signage,
Right.
in my opinion, not because I work there, but
They
because
do.
the stewardship coordinator did a great job, and Greenbelt's been very helpful there. Yeah, so,
Oxford,
already-
North Andover, both two towns that have kind of like town signage on
yeah.
open space areas too.
right, exactly.
Yeah, but that's great, like, I think
Some
it would be
places.
helpful to really have sort of a working session
think
about
that would
some
take-
of the language.
Yeah.
Again, some of them are more complicated, like town-owned properties would probably be an easier place to start, and then the properties, like Caldwell Farm is a conservation restriction, so it's really the property owner needs to be
Yeah.
directly involved in what that actually looks like.
Although we might have the right in the back end of that for signage.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually those, like, they give the grantee the right for that kind of stuff, if it's in that one.
Yeah, I will check. I'm
So
not
Including
actually
that
sure.
sign that they want. by the
Yeah, I
town
mean,
board. Yeah.
ours give us the right if we want to, you know, and, you know, we play nice and we ask, of course, but like, if we want to put up something that says, you know, this property protected with a conservation restriction by Greenbelt, the town of Newbury, whatever, like, it's kind of usually baked into some of that
Yeah.
back end language on those documents.
Yeah, yeah. We had a draft of the suggested language for the sign, and again, it just got a little bit stalled.
Yeah.
So we will be able to pick that up again, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask about, speaking of signage, I took a walk down to the Marsh View Loop Trail over on the rec field here, on Central Street.
Is that the,
Okay, yeah,
the Boy Scout?
it's the Boy Scout Trail, yes. And so, I think we brought this up before, there's a couple of defects in that. What would be the process of getting that
Right.
fixed? If anything?
Oh, boy. How long do you
The
have?
signage or the trail? or-
Well, there's two problems with the trail that I could see, and I think you can corroborate, but there's a small bridge right from the end of the landing strip
Yeah.
that gets you out into the island. It's something you can easily ignore and walk, you know, in the water if you don't care. But it's
Yeah.
completely destroyed and, you know, it's in a little pile over there. And then there's a part of the trail that is literally eroded away, so it's quite dangerous, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if we could do
No,
something.
there's
like
an,
that.
okay, the issue
Put
there
on your
is,
list for the COMSCOM.
yeah, as I get it, is that,
Bridge
the-
erosion
in order to get
will
from
require their involvement.
the recreation
Yeah,
area to that little island, okay, is you have to cross the wetland, and you have to cross something that is tidally active, okay, and also when you have heavy rains, it's on the high tide, it's okay. So it has to have, you know, NOI and the whole thing. It has to go through the whole process before, guess who? The Conservation Commission. And it will need money, because it will have to have an official survey and, you know, go through the whole process. And every time, I think in the past it came up, it was just not explored. So it's one of those situations where, as I understand it, everybody's looked at everybody else, and what has happened is the original Boy Scout is now probably, you know, on Wall Street or somewhere. But anyway, people have gone and achieved some pallets
Right.
from behind Demoulas and thrown the pallets in on top of, okay, which has made it worse, not better.
Right.
And someone came and then removed the pallets. So there's a, you know, and I think simply it has to be a formalized request by the Recreation Committee. Yeah, because they have control of the land which has access to it, to the Conservation Commission.
I mean, that's certainly the kind of thing we put into our plan, right? As an action,
Yeah.
as a needed action, and in the course of identifying it, hopefully you can take it to the next
Yeah,
step in
unfortunately,
terms of
it
funding
is-
or other, yeah.
I think but unfortunately, I think what Sean is pointing up, and I mentioned it a couple of meetings ago maybe, is that is an accident waiting to happen. Someone's going to come off that trail and they're going to injure themselves.
Mm.
And so, in a case like this, how does one move it from, oh gee, really, to, well, we need then to get something done? And how do we do that?
Because of the erosion or the bridge work?
Both.
Yeah, well,
Because
you
the
certainly
bridge,
could say, don't,
well, I tell you, what I would do is to get the Conservation Commission agent, the agent, to go down there and assess it
mhm.
and
Anyone can
make a
request
request.
that at any
As
time.
a citizen, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Well, also,
It may
if we
not.
finish our plan, then if it requires money, then we could maybe put in a request for a grant and maybe get some money in order to do it.
Mhm.
If money is the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, I think like immediate, like urgent kind of,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, signage saying do not cross or, you know, I don't know, maybe there's small scale stuff, but the conservation agent would be the point person, for sure. Although, as you say, it would be important to involve the rec committee because they have oversight of that particular property, but I don't think anyone would object to remedying the situation so it was not unsafe.
Yeah, okay, well, I will come tomorrow and talk to the constable whenever he's around and do it, get it going, and let the rec committee know, okay?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
fine.
that's what
Yeah.
to do.
That's what, yeah.
Or
Town-
Sean, if
town
you're
staff
you're
are
passionate
responding
about
to
this and you
questions
wanna
about
take it,
it.
then you can go ahead. You
Yeah.
could flag it.
Well, we should at least fix the sign. I mean,
Yeah.
there are actually two signs.
So it sounds like the recreation department is the one
Yeah.
that owns
If
it.
you can,
Well, one of them is right at the front of the parking lot.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't actually say anything.
right.
It's a sign for the trail.
Right.
And you think about how many
Yeah.
parents go to games at those fields
Yeah.
and
Right.
end up walking
I wonder where
on
this
Central
goes.
Street instead of going down that way, you know.
Well, it's
Yeah,
just
while they're waiting
it's
for
a
warm-up.
nature trail, so it
Yeah.
doesn't connect to anything.
No,
Yeah.
it's just to kill time while the teams are warming up or whatever. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
actually
right.
quite
It's-
beautiful.
Right, and it's
No, it's
part,
great, I
it's,
talked to
it's in their recreation plan, which the select board didn't know they adopted, though they did.
Yeah.
And to explain that is they did actually adopt it, but they didn't actually know they had. Until I asked, had they, and they said, oh, yes.
only the same people just stayed in power forever, they wouldn't forget. Right? You know?
Beyond me.
Change your position every 4 years, I'm sure they don't remember, I wouldn't either, you know?
We're all
I
getting
wouldn't know,
older.
like 3 administrations ago did, you know? Maybe in full.
Excellent. All right. So, I think that brings us to the next thing is deciding when we meet again. We got the Zoom meeting on the books. Do we want to also schedule our next meeting after that?
The May monthly.
Yeah, the monthly. May 6th would be the logical choice, and that's 2 days before our public meeting.
I can do that.
It's probably not a bad idea to just have it right.
Yeah, do a dry run.
Yep.
Mhm.
Any last minute stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Put it down the books. And that is it. Anybody else? Anything else?
So the next meeting,
Yeah.
May 6th.
Which would be monthly.
At 7?
Oh, the only thing I have is that I don't know whether you did have a chance to look at the updated version of the contact reach out
I did.
thing, okay? And whether you looked at what the Plum Island Taxpayers Association actually said,
Yeah.
because I think to me, it's instructive. And if you haven't reviewed that, it might be a good idea, just to Tracy, essentially, they do have a plan. Their plans have to do with working with Newburyport. Clearly, I think that they are as concerned, certainly as I personally am, with the whole idea of access and making that access clearer and cleaner, and doing something about it. And also, I would interestingly direct you to the last comment response. Anybody see that? So okay, so what's the question? The question is about plans for the future?
The last question of the organizational
Yes,
outreach survey.
right. How does it actually read? Trying to remember.
Do you have any opinions or thoughts related to recreational planning? No?
Well, the last question of the, yeah, so,
Yeah,
The last question was, do you have any other things you want to say
The
that
other-
wasn't covered in the
right.
yeah,
questions?
so basically what they said is, are you fishing for, guess what, the CPA?
Yeah, I saw.
Right.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
And I mean,
Right.
you know, we're not getting too far besides having another binder.
well,
So yes,
okay,
we are.
so I find that interesting that clearly that is enough on one person anyway, the guy who actually filled it out, but I suspect that group, knowing a little bit about them but not much, that the CPA is on other people's radar. And I feel that it's something that we need to keep very much on ours. And interestingly, Kristen, as I happened to be in a meeting last night about affordable housing, okay? And it turns out, of course, that CPA is very much a part of that. And interestingly, it ties this open space and that together, because those are two of the things that the CPA is all about, and Creative Towns have managed to interface those two things, so that when you acquire, if you can and do, open space, one of the ways you acquire it is using part of it for housing, which is, guess what, affordable. Right? So,
So do you think that the person who was asking the question was for or against the CPA? I guess I don't know where the comment was coming from. Are they like, don't talk to us about the CPA because we don't want it? Or are you asking about the CPA because we're interested in it?
Right.
Or do we not know?
you could read his answer, Christina, I think either way, but I think essentially it's the positive way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a run for cover kind of.
Yeah, I think that we talked about having someone come and like give us a little talk about the CPA and the pros and the cons, but we've just been kind of busy. I can't wait till we're done with this plan. Think of all the time we're gonna have and all the things we can do when we get this plan written. We can move on.
Like it.
So yeah, let's keep that on the radar to have someone come and talk to us about it.
Sounds good. Okay, then we covered the agenda, and I think everybody had their updates, so, it's now, 8:43, we're 43 minutes over, not bad for us. So, I'd like to, move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.